Welcome to this month's podcast with Kungliga Akademiska Kapellet. This podcast is going to be entirely about Gustav Mahler and his Sixth Symphony, which Kapellet is going to perform in Uppsala and Lund in November. And we start this podcast by sending you a greeting from the city of Amsterdam, where Kapellet and I were on tour in June this year. Right behind me you see the concert house of Amsterdam called Concertgebouw. And in this house, Gustav Mahler conducted many of his symphonies with their orchestra. And during intermission of the rehearsals, he used to go to the famous Café Kaiser next door, which is over there. So it in fact still exists. And let's go in there, I will tell you a bit more about his music. So we're sitting now at the famous Kaiser Café in Amsterdam by the Concertgebouw, where Mahler used to go and drink his tea or coffee in the intermissions of his rehearsals with the Concertgebouw orchestra. It's important to remember that during Mahler's lifetime he was known to the world as the conductor, maybe the greatest conductor of all time. He was not so known to the public as a composer. One of the few orchestras and conductors who conducted his music and tried to do the best they could with their music was in fact the Concertgebouw orchestra. During that time their chief conductor was called Willem Mengelberg, and he was really an ambassador during that time and after Mahler's death also for Mahler's music in the world. He invited Mahler here to conduct Mahler's own music, and he also conducted his music with Mahler present. One famous concert was once when they did Mahler Fourth Symphony twice. Mahler conducted the Fourth Symphony with the Concertgebouw, then it was intermission, and then Mengelberg conducted Mahler's Fourth Symphony, and Mahler himself went down and listened to it in the audience. So we are now back in Uppsala, and I'm standing in front of Musicum, which is Akademiska Kapellet, Uppsala University Symphony Orchestra's home. This is our own house. Next week we are performing together with Lunds Akademiska Kapell, as I said before, Mahler's Sixth Symphony. An enormous piece of music that have orchestration for 8 horns, 6 trumpets, 20 woodwind players, 2 harps, 2 celestas, a huge amount of percussion instruments, including cowbells, and a huge hammer that Mahler had specially made for this piece. It should be a huge wooden hammer that should be hit into the floor of the concert hall by one of the percussion members 3 times. That is the 3 times of fate. The last hit with the hammer kills the so-called hero in the symphony. That was Mahler's own word. And kill him like a tree that you cut in half. this piece requires such a huge orchestra, we decided to put these two university orchestras together and hopefully start a collaboration. Mahler composed this symphony the summer of 1903 and 1904 in the little village called Mayenig, which lays by the lake of Wörthersee in Austria. That was a time when Mahler was very happy. He had about 1 year, 1.5 years ago, married the beautiful woman Alma Maria Schindler, who was about 20 years younger than Mahler. And they also had a daughter that was a little over 1 year old when he first started to compose the Sixth Symphony. When he composed the symphony in Mayenig, he was there together with his wife and his little daughter. Many people say, you can read from eyewitnesses and letters, that this was one of the most happiest time, maybe the most happiest time in Mahler's life. That's why it's a bit strange, you might think, that he composed this Sixth Symphony, which is called the Tragic Symphony. Alma says in letters and also in her biography about her husband that this was his most personal symphony, and that is also what Mahler himself said. In fact, it was so personal, and in the composition he is showing himself in such a way that I presume that he felt himself that he was completely naked in front of the musicians and the audience. It's an open letter or an open book of his soul for everybody to listen and see. He had problem controlling himself in the front of the orchestra, and he was scared to lose control of his emotions in front of the orchestra. However, the Sixth Symphony, when it was first time performed in the German city of Essen in a music festival 1906, it turned out to be a huge success for him. In fact, it was one of the few successes Mahler ever had as a composer. And we all hope that you will join us in the journey the 21st of November in Uppsala and the 27th of November in Lund. Come and listen to us playing Mahler's Sixth Symphony. Thank you.